What is going on, everybody? We are in the building. The 49ers state of the franchise, man. We had a fantastic run this year, Jason. We started about right after week 7 after the Colts game. We talked about there's no coincidence the 49ers went on the run that they had, but it finally comes to an end. How are you doing, man? I know you're checking in from Mobile, Alabama, fresh out the Senior Bowl.
I'm good, Brad. It's always good to see you. Always good to talk with you guys. But I wish it was under better circumstances. I wish I was in Mobile. Obviously with an NFC Championship to discuss. But we have an NFC Championship to discuss. It's just not the win that we wanted or predicted. But yes, absolutely amazing season. A lot of memories, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. A season we'll never forget. But yeah, still not a good feeling today on Wednesday. So, but yes, happy to be here at the Senior Bowl. Missing you here, buddy.
Yeah, no, I was talking about it a little bit earlier, man. I'm still like wrapping my head around the fact that we're not going to the Super Bowl and it's actually the off season and it's time to actually transition. I mean, you're literally in Mobile for the draft. What's the vibe around Mobile? What's kind of like some of the things that you're seeing around now the draft season is upon us?
I mean, Mike Tomlin's scouring the sidelines looking for his new quarterback. There was some other coaches that were moving around, some GMs that we were able to see. Obviously, the press is bigger now because COVID has been, it's a less of a thing to that burger look fire on IG. Yeah, DeMarcus, that burger was incredible, man. Wow. But yeah, the vibe. I mean, just today was a little bit damp. That's all. It was like just a little bit damp. And then the box came on and I was vibing, but I was like, the TikTok girl, like
the box came on. You're thinking about 2019 on the Super Bowl,
right? Like I'm standing next to Javi and Croc singing it. We're all singing it, but we're all like not good punters. I found a kicker for a second round pick. So ask me all about the second round pick. We're gotta make sure we got that. Because all kickers should sit 1 year behind the kicker so they can develop better. So I think that's more. Oh, I'm sorry, too soon.
Spicy Ponte coming in hot. That's a nice take. Let's talk about of course the NFC Championship. We'll talk about some of the news that's going around and kind of what we think is coming for the off season. But you were in LA, man. We made a lot of noise about the fans taking over, the invasion of SoFi, aka Levi South. Just tell me a little bit about what you saw and what the experience and the vibe was like out there in LA.
I think that a lot of the camera angles would give people the impression of like a 65-35 split, 60-40 split. I think it was much closer to 50-50 this time. The Rams fans showed out, and the reason that it was loud is because there were both fans there, and it was much closer to 50-50. Obviously, when you look on certain angles, you'll see an entire section behind an end zone filled with red. But if you went to other sections, a lot of it was blue. So it was much closer to 50-50 than I believed, and the Rams fans did show out. Also, before we move forward, congratulations to the Rams. Congratulations to their fan base. Good luck in a week or whenever the Super Bowl is, because I'm not even thinking about that right now. But, SoFi was an incredible place. And, once we get through all of the game, I'll tell you my funny story of how, how I moved from certain sections to other sections.
I noticed that. I was like, you were up top, I think. I was like, my boy's moving.
We'll get to it. I think it's a funnier story like when we get to it. But yeah, we definitely have to talk about the game. But in terms of the attendance, it was much closer to 50-50 than any camera angle could probably have led on.
Well, that's cool. Still 50% is still a feat in of itself. And we could hear him through the TV. So the energy was definitely there. Of course, the scenes in the tailgate area, clearly just rows of 49er fans. So that was pretty cool. But talk about the vibe once the game started. Did it feel pretty confident going into that game and throughout that game? Was there any moment when momentum shifted and you can feel it? Because I feel like the 49ers talked about that. I think Kyle specifically talked about the sequence where it was like 3rd and 1 and or 2nd and 1 and 30 or whatever, that one
It was
sequence
third
where
and
they
two. It was 3rd and 2, and then he ran the Kyle Juszczyk play, and then there was the fumble, and then there was that decision. I would definitely point to that moment as
right.
when
Did you
the
feel like
49ers.
there was a momentum swing there?
That felt like the moment. The 49er fans that I was around, we were all yelling, "Go for it, go for it, go for it." That's the problem that I have with that play, and we'll get into that. That's my major gripe with Kyle in this game. That's my biggest takeaway was sometimes you have to seize the moment, and you know what? The safe decision is not the one that's going to get you the win, and that one bothered me a little bit. Right when you point to the Week 10 game, they were on a 4th down. Obviously, they had a lead, but Kyle put that game away. You had a chance to really, really, if not put it away, put a stranglehold on it. And that was the one that's going to live in my mind with a few other plays and everything. But I feel like that was the play where it was just like, you're punting to them again, man. Like, come on, you know?
Do you feel like that's kind of becoming a trend as of late? Like the decision making between when being aggressive and not being aggressive, and it kind of being, or at least the results end up being on the wrong side of it, right? Do you kind of feel that?
Yeah, and again, we talk about certain things like the way quarterbacks develop, the way that old school mentality is. It's just that old school mentality of like punt the ball, make your defense do it. It's just what? Sometimes people get too far into the analytics where they go for it too many times on 4th down. Sometimes it has to be a little bit of analytics and feel, and you have to be able to feel like I'm gonna seize this game right now. I'm gonna put my team in a good position, right? And I think that's the part that the anti-analytics crowd, that's their main point. And I feel analytics are good, but analytics should be used with feel. It should
Mhm.
always be with feel. Like there
Mhm.
has to be some sort of feel to what your team can do, what you
Right.
believe you can get done on top of what it says the numbers should say, right? So I think it was Ben Baldwin's bot. That 4th down, it was overwhelmingly go for it. Not that that's the say end all be all, but
Right.
that's what the analytics would have said in that moment was you go for it because you punt the ball and you change about what 25, 30 yards in field position, and then you give it back to an offense that's been rolling.
Right.
That's the part that it's like, was it safe? I don't know if it was safe. That's my thing.
Yeah. It it just felt like it was almost like a compounding effect. Again, we had like the situation where they tried to go for it on 4th against Dallas and they got the penalty. And it just felt like it was one of those kinds of things that catches up to you and you're when you're in the moment and it's time to make a big time decision, you start thinking about the things that happened before and you're like, "Well, maybe we'll just punt it and play field position and try to get the ball back with the defense." But as we know, Cooper Cup went crazy. Matthew
Odell did
Stafford,
too.
what?
Odell did too.
Yes, Odell was going crazy. What did you see from that Rams offense and just, the because the 49ers defense has been pretty stout all year
Mhm.
and specifically too against the Rams. So, what were you kind of seeing that they were doing against the 49ers defense that maybe was different or is just one of those days where the other guy had the better day?
I just think there was a lot of off coverage from corners, but the Rams left a ton of plays on the field. Cooper Cup had a massive drop that, if it doesn't end in a touchdown, would have been a large gain. And then the kid from Notre Dame, I can never pronounce his name.
Swarnick
That's why,
or something like
yeah,
that?
that's why I'll continue to refer to him as the kid from Notre Dame. He drops the easiest touchdown he'll ever have in his life. So the
Yeah.
49ers were very fortunate that it wasn't worse, right? To not get blown out, right? Like this game would have like really gone a completely different way, and then now you don't even have a chance to get a lead. So when you're talking about what did I see from the Rams offense, I saw an offense that was moving, but still left so many plays on the field, and it could have been so much worse.
Yeah. Do you feel like Cam Akers was a difference maker in this game as opposed to weeks before? I know I felt like they were more physical running the football this against the 49ers in this case than maybe so in the season prior.
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game of this one is that the 49ers got beat at their own game. The Rams ran the ball much better than they did. And that's the hard part. That's the part that's tough to swallow, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Cam Akers left this game multiple times with an injury, and Sonny Michel picked up right off, where he left off. And Cam Akers, I remember he had that long run. He got tackled and he went like this to the sideline, like just a little bit more, almost had it. So
Mhm.
look, credit to the Rams again. They did things that I didn't think they could do, which was match the physicality or overpower that physicality and get over the hump. And they ran the ball much better than the 49ers did, which is a lot of the talking points for the people who didn't like Kyle's play calling or his aggressiveness. Is like on first and second down, you kind of just ran it up the gut each time, hoping that your team was going to get that sort of push. But it was very clear that the offensive line was struggling in that game to do either of those things. Pass block and run block. Exactly. And yeah, exactly. Move the pocket, do other things, but run the ball. He wanted to do that on first and second down. It was something that had worked many times against the Rams. It just wasn't working in this game. It was not working the same way.
No, it wasn't. And what did you see on the flip side? Because it felt like the 49ers couldn't run the ball to save their lives.
Wait, what? What? I got someone. Yo, I'm sorry. Go, Brad. Say it again. I'm sorry.
A photo bomb by Avi.
Nice.
On the other side,
Leon O'Neal Jr., Texas A&M safety.
He's going wild.
Yeah.
49ers offense versus Rams defense.
Mm-hmm.
49ers really just had a hard time running the football. What did you see from that?
I think George Kittle alluded to it in the press conference about how the Rams attacked the A and B gaps in a way that they had never seen. And let me call another spade a spade. The offensive line had a tough time getting pushed. That defensive line came ready to play. Look, Trent Williams was doing everything he could.
Right.
Brunskill didn't have the game that we're accustomed to against the Rams. It was the line as a whole, right? Like not condemning the line for the entire year. It's just this one game, right?
Right.
Tom Compton struggled. It
was a struggle across. I mean, there was a lot of instances of it was just a hard game.
Yeah, and that's it. And credit to the Rams again, like George Kittle said, like it was things that they hadn't seen. But again, a lot of the things that people are saying about Kyle is running it on first down, running it on second down, almost in the same way, thinking that you can just go ahead and overpower them, outwill them. And if you see that it's not working, what are you going to do? Like, what do you do? And that's where it's at. And again, we talked about it when the 49ers run game is not going, then things start not on offensively don't start going well for them, right? And, the whole idea that we had going into this game and the reason that the 49ers would probably be moving on into the Super Bowl was that they would be able to run the ball as much as they could. They would be able to, put up at least keep the offense on schedule, right? Like, I think people get it confused when we say run the ball in terms of chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. It was just about keeping them on schedule, keeping them ahead of the sticks and putting them in good spots on third down. When that's not happening and you find yourself getting a 1-yard loss on first, you get another 2, so you're back to 3rd and 9. Look, that's not a recipe for success for any quarterback, let alone Jimmy Garoppolo.
Absolutely. And it was something that they just really couldn't get going. It felt like in any consistent measure at all. Just felt like trying to run the ball was a task. But one of the things that we saw is they were just loading the box too. And the way that they were blitzing and shooting gaps, because, when we run in our gap scheme and we're doing stuff like that, they know we're trying to get angles. So if they beat us to the angle, they figured it out, right? They figured out how to neutralize what we were trying to do from a blocking standpoint, which made it really difficult to run the ball. But there was just of course, it was a lot harder to then throw the ball. Like there was no counters off that. If the run game wasn't working, it was like, okay, well, they're going to load the box, bring safeties down, but they're still going to run it. There's no counters. We didn't see a lot of that, right?
Yeah, and it felt like the 49ers in the last matchup adjusted to that, and that's when they were able to get their offense back on track. This time, Raheem Morris and his defense, they had a plan, and credit Aaron Donald, man. He was upset. He was upset, man. Like you could tell that he was tired of the whole
he was
narrative about being bullied, all of them. Like
Brunskill,
I didn't think
Debo.
Right. And exactly. And when they were talking about all week about we're gonna out physical them, I'm like, well, you shouldn't have to hype yourself up to do something. But I guess it worked because they were very physical. And then towards the end of that game, as the game progressed, the offensive line got worse going into that, going forward. When the drive got bigger, the offensive line was caving a little bit more too. But look, credit to Trent. He went out there and tried to gut it out, man. That
Hell
ankle
yeah.
was probably hanging on by a thread, man. You could tell. Like I could tell when I was watching the game, when I made my way down a lot closer. One of my buddies who's not a 49er fan, he texted me. He's like, man, Trent is hurt. And I was like, I see it. Like he's like got his hands on his knees and like he's like walking like I was like, he's hurt. He's playing on all heart right now. So he tried it, and I will. I again, whatever percentage of Trent Williams is still better than whatever percentage of the backup is.
Yeah, it was a gutty performance. Obviously, Trent Williams, being the veteran that he is, getting his first 2 playoff wins of his entire career this year with a chance at the Super Bowl on the line, he wasn't going to miss that game. And based on what it sounded like they probably shot it up with all kinds of painkillers, numbers. He was talking about, he's like, man, I don't even know what the ankle's like. We're going to figure it out once it settles down and the adrenaline wears off and the painkiller wears off. We're going to see what the ankle's really like. But
Rest up, big fella.
It did sound like he had a grade 2 high ankle, which a lot of people ain't playing in that instance. And being a huge man that Trent Williams is, again, it's just got to tip your cap to the man for the effort to get out there and do what he did. And he still did okay. It wasn't typical dominance from Trent, but we understand why.
Right.
But still, even talking about we've been focusing on, the Rams, how they did a good job on defense, kind of attacking the scheme and kind of stopping us on the opposite side as well. The 49ers were up 10 points in that game going into the 4th, still under those circumstances. So what is your overall feeling of just that kind of just knowing that?
Spain without the S.
Yes.
Just I threw the stat out there on Sprint Red Option. Teams that have a 10-plus point lead in the 4th quarter of playoff games are 19-2. Those 2 losses.
No, don't say it.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's the Niners.
Yes.
Talk about Spain with no S. Oh my god.
It's the Super Bowl and it's the NFC Championship game. Look.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm a big Kyle Shanahan guy. I got a lot of problems with the way that he didn't go for it on 4th. Got a lot of problems with the play of the team overall in certain aspects. I mean, it took an entire team to blow this one just like it did the Super Bowl. No one person's going to get the blame.
Yeah.
But being in the stands, watching it happen was like, I seen this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen this movie. It sucks. Turn this off. Like, I was like, I don't like this ending. The ending's pretty trash.
Doesn't it feel like Kyle kind of has that going on too? Like,
he does.
I respect Kyle. I respect what he does as a designer.
We love Kyle.
And all that stuff. But it does
get over it.
There's a little, like, subconscious, like, insecurity almost that pops up. And then it almost, like, comes out.
It's about playing to not lose the game as opposed to playing to win the game.
Right.
And a lot of people kill certain coaches for being overly aggressive. Sometimes I need more aggressiveness in certain aspects from Kyle, especially if they're taking away your run, throw the ball. And you need 2, right? You need, if you're a team that can't get 2 on 4th down, 1 on 4th down, why are you in this game? I want to blame one person. I can't. There's so many things you can point to especially when you watch the film. The film is gross. I watched it on the plane and I'm like, I'm never going to watch this ever again. I am flushing this. I was like, I will flush this one. And like, I tortured myself.
It's one of those ones where you really don't learn anything. It was just like, that was just a bad showing.
I forgot. I'll send it to you too, Brad. I'm sorry. It's just a lot of stuff going on, man. But
all good, man.
It was just crazy. I was about to send it to you now.
It's crazy, man. It's just crazy how it all went down because we were so close. We were so close. Like,
all right. So look. Let's break up the hurt.
Yes.
Let's talk about some funny stuff. So yes, Jason Aponte started up in the 400s in this game. In the 400s, not on the roof. Close to it though.
Damn near different area code.
Yeah. So game's on. It's halftime, and I receive a text with a ticket to get lower, but it's one, and I'm with somebody, and we get down, and the
Like, they
instructions
just hit
were,
you
yeah,
with like, "Hey, we upgraded your seat."
no, it wasn't from the team. Not at liberty to say
Okay.
how it was that all this came about.
Okay.
But this ticket comes into my possession. It's a screenshot, and the instructions were go in, send it to the person that you're with, and then they'll come in behind you. It's in the 100s field level.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, those seats they were going for about $4,000, I believe, something like that. So halftime happens. We start to make our way down because SoFi is not an easy stadium to navigate. Like, right? Like, you can't just walk out of your seat and just walk down the stairs. Like, you literally have to walk out of your seat and then walk to the other side of the stadium to get to the escalator to go down. So we're walking through and we're trying to watch the game because the game's starting. So we're stopping every time there's like gameplay to like watch so we can watch. And then we're moving and then we stop and then we're moving and then we stop. So it's during the time that the 49ers are actually driving and we're getting down. So I show this is going to be great. I show the screenshot and I'm thinking the screenshot came in grainy because there's 70,000 people in the stadium trying to use their phone at the same time, right? Even though the screenshot looks like it was taken off of a toaster. Definitely. And it's not a seat section. It's like a VIP section to get down to the 100 seats, right?
Oh,
so, yeah.
This is big time.
Yeah. So I show the gentleman who's there holding the door, and he says, escalator in the back. He was like, don't show anybody else that screenshot. Because he saw grainy and looked at how like
he knew what was going on.
He knew, but he let me in because he was a nice guy, and I walked up respectfully and everything. So I walked through. One of the club doors opens on the 100, and a baby runs out, and it's Stormy. And guess who's chasing after Stormy? Travis Scott. Yeah, and I'm like,
you're like, I know you.
I was like, and like my buddy comes running up behind me. He gets in, and I'm like, yo, that's Travis Scott, bro. It's like, what the hell? So we get down. Basically, let's keep it football. We get down there, and we get to see Jawan Jennings' third down, where he catches the pass and he drags two guys over the line.
Oh, that was such a great play. All effort.
Yes. And then the George Kittle touchdown.
Ooh.
And we're close enough to see it all.
Yeah.
Right there. And man, did it feel right there in that moment. Like, here we go. Like, everybody, like, I like, there's a video that nobody will ever see that I took on my phone. But we were like, let's go. Like, everybody's like, you feel it now. 17-7, right? You know that you want to put the Rams in
possessions.
Right. And you want to put the Rams in a spot where they have to come back.
Yeah.
But that's where we were at that moment. And that was the part that I felt like, okay, here we go again. Like, we got this now. Like, we're in the driver's seat right now. Also, one more thing that was hilarious. I don't know if any of you guys saw on Twitter. If you haven't, go check my feed. The fake Kyle Shanahan in the stands, absolutely goated. 100% goated.
Who?
What, Brad?
No, sorry, I didn't hear you.
The fake Kyle Shanahan?
Go.
Absolutely goated. Absolutely goated. Yeah,
someone took like a candid video of him.
Yeah,
like,
I posted
from a
it.
section above, just
He
cheering.
had the play sheet.
Yeah, he had the play sheet, and he was like, even his movements while he was celebrating looked like Kyle, and he had no idea that the camera was on him. I was like,
dude,
this is crazy, dude.
Dude, we went to the 300s to watch the AFC title game, and he's walking by, and I'm like, hey, ain't no way. I was like, coach, let's go. Yo, I was like, let's take a picture. I sent it to somebody, and they were like, yo, you're chilling with your coach? I was like, yeah, my coach is in the 300 seats. Yeah. So I was like, he's totally focused.
Chill with coach while he's playing in the game. He's coaching from the 300 section.
So, look, I wanted to break it up because we still have some heartbreaking things to talk about right now. But that's my story about how I got down into the big seats. But basically just kept walking around during the entire like third and fourth quarters just to make sure that, we weren't spotted and like, hey, you don't belong here. We know you don't belong here. You got to get out. But That's a funny story, but yeah, it was like right then when the Kittle touchdown happened, and we all kind of thought it was done at that point, or we had a very good feeling at that point.
Right. No, that's hilarious. And
Yeah.
for real, fake Kyle Shanahan goated. Like look
Yo,
just like
goated.
him.
I love it. I love this fan base. I swear. I know we talk a lot of stuff. Like I think our problems with this fan base just come from like the people who are crazy on Twitter. But this fan base is legit, man. They travel and when you're out there at the tailgates, everybody shows love. You can just pull up and like yo, I don't have a wristband. Here, have a beer. Like, they're all legit like that, man. And then to see that guy, I'm just like, damn, you know what? I'm happy to be a part of this.
That's so good. It was so good. I saw your picture and then I saw the video later and the mannerisms and the move. I was like, oh my God, that's Kyle, bro. It's
Dude,
Kyle in the stands.
the white shirt with the black joggers. I was just like, why did you do this? And I was like, why do you look like Coach so much?
So good. Luke Luna says, and it's still love, baby. I ain't going nowhere.
Appreciate
A lot
you,
of
Luke.
faithful ain't going nowhere. We know
Yeah,
the
man.
vibes. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on about the quarterback position, as we know. But we'll start with Rob's question, and then we'll transition after that. He says, hi, Jason and Brad. With Trey starting next year, what kind of changes can we expect offensively, formations, shotgun, under center? How are you seeing it?
I think that a lot of the people that are worried about Aaron Banks, a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's going to be like 1-1 with Trey Lance too. So not only are you going to see, different formations, different play calls, it's just the personnel is going to be different too.
Yes.
Forget the fact that there's like 30 plus free agents. You have to remember that some of these guys were drafted with Trey in mind, right? So if if Trey Lance was redshirted, then obviously Aaron Banks was. So, there's going to be a lot of changes. What we're going to see is the quarterback take off and run a little bit more. You're going to see more explosive plays. You're also going to see your bumps and bruises, but you're going to see personnel changes as well. Like this plan had a lot of things into it, and maybe not all of them included the current personnel that was in front of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of changes. Obviously, we started to feel them already today. But I think you carry a very similar thought process that I have. Kind of the way you talked about, well, like Aaron Banks, there's a different style of offensive line play. 49ers need to figure out what is going on with Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Daniel Brunskill, and Mike McGlinchey. That's 4 out of 5 offensive linemen that have a legitimate question mark if they will be back. Laken is signed under contract. The way I interpreted Trent talking about Laken was, and we've heard this a lot from the front players talking about the front office. Come correct when it's time to talk contract, and we understand that that's just not how our front office operates. They do with some players, but the majority, right? They don't come correct. It's a process. It's a battle of pulling to get to the number that you want. So it did sound like Laken. Laken looked really upset. Trent was upset, kind of talking about Laken. So I don't know if Laken's getting the deal that he wants. Alex Mack talked about he doesn't know if he's going to retire or not. One of the things that I was thinking about was like, well, Alex Mack was one of Jimmy's biggest defenders. Does Alex Mack want to go through his 14th year in the NFL with essentially a rookie quarterback? We'll find out. Daniel Brunskill, I think Dan's going to get paid, but it's probably going to get paid by someone else. I think he'll be kind of a middle tier offensive lineman, and someone will view him and they'll give him a decent amount if they run similar outside zone schemes and he fits that kind of gap scheme. So I could see him getting a paycheck somewhere else. And then we don't know what's going on with McGlinchey. The things that we heard when McGlinchey got hurt, they're like, there's a 50% chance he even comes back from this injury. So I think the biggest thing about scheme is really going to depend on what the offensive line is. Kind of what you're talking about with Aaron Banks. What does our offensive line look like? Who's going to be starting? Because a big reason why we saw some of the running schemes that we saw was because we had guys like Brunskill and that were good at leverage blocking, good at reach stepping and things like that. Are they going to transition to more power scheme? You got to have the offensive lineman to do it. You can't just do it. and expect it to work. You got to have the people. And so I really think that's the biggest question. What is going on
Yeah,
with the offensive line, right? And
yeah,
who's it going to be?
and you nailed it. I mean, the skill position guys are going to be who they are. It's
Right.
about the offensive line. That's the only personnel real changes. Like
Yeah.
the players that are going to be in the skill position. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's part of the when we get to the end of all this and we talk about our overall feelings, I will give you my feelings, but a lot of what is coming now has helped me understand things better in terms of how to process my feelings after this loss.
Absolutely. That makes sense. How about your thoughts on the situation with Jimmy? Clearly an end of an era, right? 4 years, Jimmy Garoppolo showing up in 2017 with the trade from the Patriots, second round draft pick. Uh, about a quarter away from a Super Bowl win, about a quarter away from another Super Bowl appearance. What are you taking away from the Jimmy Garoppolo era?
I thought that I was done discussing this because I kind of said my piece on sprint right option, but I will reiterate right now for the people who don't know. I will always remember Jimmy Garoppolo's time here fondly, no matter what happened. Thank you, Jimmy Garoppolo, for coming here, injecting life into this fan base, injecting life into this team, and for all of the memories. No matter what those memories end up as, that's fine. But I would be lying to you if I didn't have fun in 2019. I'd be lying to you if I didn't have fun this year. And I'd be lying to you to say that he didn't contribute in any way to those games. And he's going to go on somewhere else and be a starter. And I wish him nothing but good luck. Nothing but good luck. Unfortunately, it's up to you for how you will ultimately remember him. And it's up to you with what moments will stand out ahead of the others. And obviously, the Super Bowl loss is going to stand out. This one's going to stand out too. But I will reiterate this. Took an entire team to lose that Super Bowl. Took an entire team to lose this NFC Championship game. Did he contribute to that? Yes, he did. And they all did. But he still helped. And the trashing of him has gone too far. But what I will say is this too, Brad. I wish you nothing but luck, Jimmy Garoppolo, but I'm done talking about it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't want to discuss it anymore because no one has made a different point or said anything that anybody hasn't known since 3 years ago when this discussion happened.
He's done.
I'm done.
He's
I am done. I wish you nothing but luck, Jimmy Garoppolo. Godspeed in all your endeavors. Stop talking about him. Stop bringing him up. He's not here anymore. And he also said farewell in the most classy way. He handled everything perfectly. Great on you, Jimmy. You were the consummate professional with all the noise around you. You did the best you could. And right now, the peace that I have after this game, I walked out sad, but I didn't walk out like devastated where I didn't want to, you know why? I know exactly where this team is going now. There's no question about who's going to be the guy, a quarterback now. What's this team going to look like? I know exactly what this team is going to look like. So if I sound like I'm at peace with it, it's because the future's set.
Yeah.
And it has been. What I will not do is reiterate, rehash, discuss the same exact points over and over about this man because it's done. It's over. Say your last words and move on. Because as of right now, February 2nd, obviously he's still on the roster, but we know what's coming. Move on. It's over. Okay? Remember it fondly. Thank you, Jimmy. But I will not be roped into any more discussions about this man. I will not discuss this man any further. I will not discuss things that have been said over and over and over again ad nauseum. We're done. Let's move on. Godspeed, Jimmy. And 49er fans, you should be happy that now you have clarity, more clarity going forward.
I absolutely love how done you are talking.
I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't, man.
Hey, I totally feel you because if you're in the content game like Jason and I are, we've been talking about Jimmy Garoppolo every day since January of last year. So it's been a long ride. And although I think you summed it up fondly, we thank him for everything that he's done. He really brought a winning culture to this franchise when they hadn't really won a game yet. And, and he strung up those 5 wins again, almost got a Super Bowl, almost did all that good stuff. But I think we are excited a little bit to just not talk about that anymore. Now we get to discuss amongst the fan base. Jason, I don't know how many times you've been asked this. I've been asked it quite a bit. Is Trey Lance a bust?
Let's stay on track here. Brad.
Sorry, I can't help it. I'm having too much fun today.
I know, but
it's off
right,
season, and like this weight feels like it's been lifted off of me. Like it's off season. We get a vibe now. We can do whatever the hell we want.
At the same time, you're joking, but I'm preparing myself. Trey misses a pass. See, Jimmy would have never missed that.
100%.
Trey loses a game in the fourth quarter that maybe causes 1 or 2 plays. Jimmy would have won that game. I mean, you don't think he could have beat that team? I'm preparing myself for that, but I will not discuss it. So I mean, like people will say those things, but it's done. It is done. It's over. Give it up. Move on.
I love it, dude. Like I've already answered like 2 or 3 or 4 questions. Is Trey Lance a bust? How do you determine he's a bust? Like, so we're gonna be talking about that quite a bit this offseason. It was okay. Keep us talking content, whatever it is. Keith says, my buddy that's a Cowboys fan called me after the loss and said Shanahan did a great job babysitting Jimmy, and he hopes Trey isn't good because if he is, we'll be unstoppable. Let the Trey era begin.
Keith, that's not just your Cowboys fan friend. That is the league.
Yeah.
The league is shaking in their boots and hoping that Trey Lance does not work out, because if he does, by God, you're in a world of hurt. Everybody. And there's a new generation of quarterback on the way now that we don't have Tom Brady to deal with anymore for now. Because I still can't believe that he's retired. Like, I'm still waiting for him to just pull up in time for camp and just be like, I'm back. And I'm like, damn,
he would
man,
do
just go
something
home.
like that too.
Hey, you didn't hear that. You did not hear that.
I heard it, but we're gonna disregard it. Strike it from the record.
No, that's stricken from the record. It's good. No, you know how like people say that I said something? We edit podcasts, so just make sure you edit that out.
Yeah,
go back and edit it out. Yeah, edit Javi out in the background.
Justin says Shanahan in his press conference. I think this is supposed to say Trey Lance, not the tree lands, but it happens. We'll be going to Southern California to work with people on his throwing mechanics. Does that mean Tom House? Is that really the spot where you believe he needs to work? And we actually were talking about this like before we started the stream. He's going to be going to LA. He's going to be going to work with Les Spielman. He's a speed coach, actually, more than anything else. But they do work on their throwing mechanics. Do you guys remember who that quarterback coach was that is connected? I know Javi knows that is connected.
Avery.
What's the other one? It was the one that's connected to Kyle.
Who's the QB coach connected to Kyle?
John Beck.
John Beck. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that tandem come back together. John Beck, Les Spielman. For training and the mechanics thing, they've been trying to work on his mechanics since the second they got him into OTAs. So, and you could still see mechanical discrepancies, I guess is a way to put it, against the Texans, against Arizona, right? Would you say about the same?
Yeah, and I think that he's going to be working on all of those things. That's something that they talked about early on, and it's something that is going to, that's something that doesn't just get rectified with a few months. Like it has to become muscle memory. It has to continue to work
the way you do something.
Right, and you already know that Brandon Ayuk is going to be out there throwing with him, so expect that rapport to continue to build, and that should all make you excited for what's coming forward. Like I think that, again, we're all bummed about the loss, but we're all just, now it's turn the page, and now you know what's in front of you. And I think that that's what's got a lot of us just as calm. Like a lot of us, were hurt after certain losses. Sure, we were hurt after this one, but now you know what's coming, and I think that's what's the comforting part.
Yeah, I think the constant stance of, is Trey starting this week? Is Trey going to play this game? If it wears on you after a while. And like we said, we've been doing this since last January. It's actually at the Senior Bowl.
When he was sitting in the stands and we blew it. We fumbled the bag.
We blew it. Oh, my goodness. Jesse Wade says, Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers delivered the exact results we hoped for. We were one game short. Brad and Jason, appreciate you guys.
100%. Anybody who questioned the plan to play everybody, they played in the NFC Championship game. I don't know what – I mean, obviously, I know what more you could have wanted. But when you look at what this team was, I don't know what more you could have asked for. So I think that's another thing that has us kind of like, we weren't supposed to be here. And, you'll look back and say, yeah, but you still have to make the plays and you could have. Sure. But that comfort, of knowing that, you didn't waste the year.
No.
I mean, you almost
went to the NFC Championship.
Right.
49ers are 3-5, fire everyone. They almost started Trey Lance when they're 3-5.
Yeah. Right. Like Kittle alluded to that too. He goes, I go on social media, fire Kyle, trade me, start Trey, like all these things, trade Jimmy, and look, they were a few minutes away from moving on to another game in SoFi.
Yeah, that was like I think the first real adversity Kittle had really went through too off the field. So that was something new for a lot of those guys. Justin said, "Yo, edge rusher early in the draft. Obviously, don't have a first round pick, so it'd be like a second." Which is now a late second, right? And or Harold Landry, free agent.
I'll ask my draft confidant here in the room. I'll say it out loud to him. Edge rusher early in the draft or Harold Landry in free agency.
Edge rusher early in the draft.
There you go. You heard it first.
There you go. Javi says edge rusher early in the draft.
Why pay? But that would be righting your wrongs, almost like because you had a chance to draft him.
Oh my god!
All right, I'm sorry. It's draft season. Let's talk about the draft misses.
No, I don't want to talk about draft misses.
You're
about to give me all my PTSD coming back up again. I have too much draft.
What do you mean, man?
This class is good.
It is. Jermaine Johnson.
Sam Williams.
Ooh.
Ole Miss.
Dev says any QB we should try for or commit to Lance. So I feel like this is an alluding to Aaron Rodgers. I've been asked that question the last couple days. I guess I might as well ask you. Aaron Rodgers or Trey Lance, Jason?
I mean, I just don't see the Packers moving him to the 49ers. I mean, you would literally be handing them a Super Bowl trophy, and then Matt LaFleur would, be handing him over to the guy that he wants to be. And it's just, just commit to Lance at this point. None of that lines up. If it was a team in the AFC or something like that, then maybe. But, like, sending him to the 49ers is, like, it's ultimate death for everybody.
He already knows the system and the scheme, essentially.
Yeah. No.
Back to the Bay. Yeah. No, it feels like it's going to be Trey Lance. And, I mean, it has to be. Right? I mean, I'm not going to put it past the Niners to do anything at this point. Like, if they move heaven and earth for whatever reason, one way or the other, whether it's a key veteran or I'm ready for it all.
It better be. Look, there's only two options that I would say that I would want to start over Trey Lance, and they are. I'm asking for the top of the top: Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. And if it's neither of those guys, then that's it. Just run it with Trey.
Yeah, I'm with you there, because Trey does have a very high ceiling. He's got the traits.
Of course,
He's got the measurables.
Go.
Just go. Do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Do it.
Do it, man.
So it does appear clearly that's where the 49ers are headed. But again, I think there's a much bigger question that Jason and I will continue to attack throughout the offseason is how are they building this team? Are they going to tear it down to the studs? I think there is a world where I haven't tried to give it much realization. But I think there is a range of outcome where the 49ers could just blow it up and rebuild and retool around Trey. What are your thoughts about that?
There's just a lot of free agents, and it comes down to money. It comes down to what they want, who's priced who's self out of town, who is looking for a bag. I have a feeling this team is going to look drastically different next season. I mean, obviously it'll look drastically different because the quarterback will be different. But in terms of just you have your core, right? Yeah. You have your guys that are going to be here. But I
Yes.
mean, those pieces around him are going to change because there's so many free agents. There's only a certain amount of money to give all of those guys. How do you clear a lot of that money away? We know. But again, we don't know when that'll happen, how that'll happen, how much money the 49ers might have to possibly eat to make something like that happen. Like, so we'll see. Got to hope that the front office knows what they're doing here.
Yep. So I'm prepared for anything at this point. I feel like when they traded DeForest Buckner, that was a clear crystal message that no one's safe. Anyone can
Nope.
go at any time for any reason.
And it's the 49ers, man. Expect the unexpected.
Yes, exactly.
Like, enjoy the roller coaster. Like, here we are, February 2nd, and we're
We'll be
and
here
there's still
to break it all down when it goes on.
here we are, February 2nd. And yes, we're talking about the NFC Championship because we haven't done a show since, but there's
Right.
so much there's still right now stuff to talk about that we still haven't talked about yet.
Yes.
This team does not stop with the content. Everybody talks about other teams and their problems and their reality. Like, the 49ers are front and center giving you content every single day. And it's just the way that it is. Such is life as a 49er fan.
Absolutely. And the next things that we're going to be focusing on is trade destinations for Jimmy Garoppolo. What type of compensation will we get in return? I might as well just ask you quickly, like, what do you think there's a spot where Jimmy could land? Maybe Mike McDaniel goes to the Dolphins and wants a familiar face, or go somewhere else. What would you value? I guess maybe not maybe your perception
What I would
of
value
what.
Jimmy Garoppolo is 3 firsts. I think that if any team that is trading for Jimmy Garoppolo should be trading
Yeah.
3 firsts.
Exactly.
No.
So then now
serious
ask the
answer.
question of through
Yeah.
another team's perception.
Seri-
What would they
serious-
value?
Serious answer, probably like a third, and hopefully a fifth to go with that, maybe a player or something like that. But I don't think you can ask anything more of that right now. Jimmy Garoppolo is still a starter in this league. He's got that win-loss record, and he's good for any team that feels like they're on the cusp of a playoff berth or a deep run. So I think that's very valuable. And destinations. I mean, it came out today. I forget who it was that reported it, so I don't want to act like I'm saying this, but we've all kind of like hinted at it. Washington, Pittsburgh, Carolina, now Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay needs a quarterback. The only pushback I have with Tampa Bay is Bruce Arians will probably pull his hair out of his head or like smash his golf hat on the floor if the guy's not taking downfield shots, because he
It's not
lived
a
with
match.
Jameis, right?
it's
Like,
not a match.
he wants everything vertical, and that's just I think we can all fairly say that's not Jimmy Garoppolo's game.
No.
So I mean, if Tampa Bay, unless they feel like they have a roster that can still compete and they just need a quarterback to keep them in that area because they were close to a Super Bowl this year, they just won one the year before, then maybe. But I don't foresee that because I just don't think he's a fit with the coach and the style.
Yeah, I feel you. So the content isn't going to stop.
Nope.
There's going to be plenty rolling on. Clearly, Jason's at the Senior Bowl, so it's draft season. We're getting a late start into draft season because the 49ers actually made a deep playoff run. So I'm getting a late start. I'm definitely behind on scouting. I am not up to speed, so I got lots and lots of work to do. I got started. Anyone before we break, Jason? Anyone that stood out to you day one? Someone to keep an eye on at the Senior Bowl throughout the week? Anything like that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I mean, Jermaine Johnson, but I think he's playing his way further up. Like, at this point, he's not going to be there when the 49ers get a chance to draft. Yeah, he's moving up. Like, I saw somebody's mock, and he's not even in the first round. I'm like, all right, his mock is
he's
awful.
the Florida State
edge. Yeah.
Dude, he pancaked that big old beast out of Kentucky.
That was today. Yesterday, you know what it is? And again, this is not something you can quantify, but he walks around like, I know what I'm about to do. Like, I know exactly what I'm about to do
that
to you.
Body
and that's
language, that
right. Like, he's just
like aura.
He moves like that, right? There's a few old linemen that I'm sure that I'll be able to send you over their names. I just have numbers and I just can't remember like where they're from because I had that sheet and it was soaked because it was like downpour the entire time. But yeah, obviously everybody wants to know about Christian Watson. He's been good. I mean, look, I'll say this, man. Malik Willis is QB1 in Mobile right now, and it's not really particularly close.
He's so good. He's so good. I'm excited to see where he goes. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first one off. Let's get through a couple more questions and then we'll break. Paul Third says Jimmy to the Bucks for a third. Rodgers stays in Green Bay. Russ stays in Seattle. Watson going to Pitt. Oh, what a parenthesis.
Don't read it.
I'm not.
Don't read it.
I almost did. Denver drafting a quarterback. Trey starts. I don't know. I like Rodgers to Denver. Jason's telling him what the comment was. I had to throw the mute on.
I'm not saying that out loud, man.
I know. Good on you. I'm really glad that I didn't say it out loud. I almost did.
Shout out to Paul III, bro. I mean, it's cool, man. We're not shaming you or nothing like that. It's just we're not trying to get the channel pulled down.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it PG around here. Justin says, is the O-line we got last year a bust? We got 2 offensive line, Jalen and Banks.
I can't say. We can't say. We can't say.
Yeah,
they just haven't played. It's just, again, I'm gonna choose to say, like, you can't tell me that someone's a bust if they don't play, and I don't think that them not playing is any sort of indication of how they look at it. Again, this front office, this regime, they had a plan. They were just gonna play their guys, and they did.
Yeah. Ambry Thomas is a case study for how bad he was at the beginning of the year, how good he was at the end. Everyone is going to develop at their own pace. Wason Wapante, Calvin Austin third, plus Mobile Day 2 report. Jason?
I know everybody wants Watson because he played with Trey Lance, but Calvin Austin the third could fit with this team very well.
Who's he played
Little
for?
Guy.
Or what's his
Memphis?
college he's coming from?
He's better fit than Watson.
He's Memphis?
Yes, he's better fit than Watson.
He so we're here with Croc, and Croc talks about how you win, right? And I understand everybody's like, oh, he's little, but he doesn't play with, like, he's not here to be physical. He's a guy like who catches the ball.
He's a space eater, sounds like.
Yeah, he's shifty. He literally scored a long touchdown today from Sam Howell, who looked awful today, but one of his really good throws was to him on a corner route into the end zone. So shout out to Mav, because he was the one who told me about him before we went. And every time he has the ball in his hands, he feels very electric. He feels like he would fit, where literally it's the take the ball, turn, throw it the same way you do to Debo, put the blocking in front of him and let him move. He could be a fit. And if he can actually return punts, then it's another feather in the cap of the 49ers. So shout out to Mav, man. He was telling me about him the whole time, and he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Shout out, Mav. Dean wants to know, Jason, ask Javi, is there any cornerback crushes that he's seen so far?
You got a question.
Javi, you got a question.
Is there any cornerback crushes that you've seen so far? Please and thanks, bro.
Just Kobe Bryant right now.
Just Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant is. He's from Cincy, right?
The kid from Nebraska. Cam Bryant. Cam Taylor Britt. I'm sorry. Jesus. I'm sorry. Not a lot of sleep, guys.
It's been a long week.
He's physical as hell. I watched him, like, he's a big guy. He's like 6 foot, but like he runs up and he like stuffs the run, and he's knocking guys down.
So we got some lists for you guys to look out for. Jason, Joey Baylor needs an eye on.
Yes. Oh yeah, Javi likes him.
The Baylor safety.
Yeah, and Leon O'Neal Jr.
And then we also we need Jamal. Shout out Jamal says, have to put your eyes on Zion
McCollum and Khalil Shakir.
I did not get to watch.
Yeah, it was tough today, Jamal. Today it was like torrential downpour. Like, it's so bad over here that they moved the practice indoors and closed it off to people. So
yeah, the conditions weren't great. Absolutely. Mav says he can return punts, return to the house at Memphis this year.
Yep.
So keep an eye on, I'm sorry, what his name was. I'll pull it up. It was
Calvin Austin III.
Calvin Austin III. Keep an eye on him. Also, make sure you hit up Jason or Javi if you want them to keep an eye out for any one of these prospects at the Senior Bowl, as there are boots on the ground. Since Javi's in the background, Jason, where do we follow you and Javi?
Yeah, you can follow me at Jason Aponte 2103 and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep it going. We got a little bit of an announcement coming with Sprint Right Option, and some things have been happening. Like, we're a little excited about that over here. I can't really spill it yet because it's not finalized, but I'm very excited about where we're going with that right now. So just goes to show that, you have a successful season, and you guys support, and a lot of things, go your way, and things are starting to move. But if you want to follow Javi, he's at Javier VEG _ on Twitter, and make sure that you subscribe to his channel, Fourth and Goal Podcast. He's 189 subs away from 1,000, which would help him out a ton. He's very close.
Get those subs over. What's the name of the podcast again for the
Fourth and Gold?
Head over to Fourth and Gold, smash that subscribe button. Supporting 49ers content creators is the cool thing to do. So that's what we do around here. Make sure you follow Jason, Javi, because like I said, they're going to be coming with the boots on the ground Senior Bowl coverage. Maybe we do a check-in at the end of the week. We'll figure it out.
Oh yeah. We like, now we're off-season content. We got our feelings out about this game, and now it's time.
I don't want to talk about the game anymore.
It's fine. It's time to focus, and let's get right back into it. Like, this team, we saw some 49ers people walking around. We can't confirm who they are, what their role is, but the 49ers have gotten to that point as well too. So we're gonna find out.
I feel like this was a little bit cathartic. We talked about that game, got it out the way. Draft season is upon us. Let's move to it. Let's get to building out, helping project out this roster. And what it will look like this year, because as we've talked about, there's going to be a ton of changes. There's potential for substantial changes, but we're gonna be following it every step of the way. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Jason, subscribe to Javi, Fourth and Goal Podcast. Do it all. They're going to be locked in with the draft. And again, off-season content, we shine. So keep it locked in. We're going to keep coming with plenty of content. Appreciate everyone in the chat vibing with us today, vibing with us all year, to be honest.
Right.
Again,
that's what I was gonna do. Can I say some mushy stuff real quick? Brad, 49ers fan base, hell of a season. What a ride. What a blast. So happy that we could do these every week, you and I, Brad. A lot of the things that we've done, from Mobile to training camp to this to that, it's
dude, it's been a long
journey. I'm proud to call you a friend. I'm proud to have met so many of you guys in real life, call you guys friends. We're lifelong friends now. And who would have thought that just wanting to talk about 49ers football would have opened so many doors for all of us, and been able to open us up to you guys. And no matter what, obviously it didn't end the way we wanted it to. I will always fondly remember this season. And you and I think our next episode needs to be year in review.
The big one.
Man.
It's over a year in review. It's a year and like a month. It's crazy.
We're right back to where we were in Mobile, and it's all popping up again on like my stories and everything. And that's where the story begins for this year. So we're real close to talking about that again. I can't wait. I think that's going to be an electric episode. But again, thank you guys, everybody who watches the episodes, donates, comments, subscribe, liked, anything like that to both of us. But again, Brad, love you, buddy, man. This has been a hell of a year, man, and continue to enjoy to watch you grow, and just keep talking this 49ers thing, man, and just keep the content rolling.
Couldn't have said it better, Jason, man. It's been a freaking pleasure getting to know you, dude. Again, a year ago in Mobile, where the seeds were planted. It's been a blast.
Where I got my SF Niners follow on Instagram, man. That was the best. That was the best day of my life, man. That was the day. That was it. I was like, that's the day that I'll look back. That's the day I'll look back and I'll be like, now I made it. Mom, I made it.
Stop it. But to be perfectly honest, Jason has always been someone I've looked up to as a podcaster, a guy who knows how to spit with the best of them. So it's been a blast to be able to do this with you. Not only just to do it with you, you've taught me a lot, man. And it's been a blast. And I've had a fantastic time. Again, we started this after week 7. We started this amidst a losing streak.
That's how you know we're committed.
It switched, and the 49ers started going on their run after that point. So I'm just going to keep it 100. That was us. It is what it is. So I'm excited to keep the off-season content going, and also see where this continues to grow, man. I appreciate you, and I'm excited to see what comes next for both of us, man.
Absolutely, man. And shout out to everybody in here, man. And, always go Niners.
Let's go. So thank you guys as always for joining us on this ride. Like I said, like we said, we're not going anywhere. Plenty of content going on. Yes, I will be back tomorrow. Jason, you have any live set up for tomorrow? You got any podcasts, anything?
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out if the media is not allowed to go to the practice, but I have a feeling since I'm in the room with the big wig that we'll probably get in there. But I'm gonna be getting, I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked on Grant Cohn's show, so you can watch that. I mean, because he's got a lot to say. He's got a lot to say about Jimmy Garoppolo because of the way I handled him last week, man. He's probably gonna get he's gonna. Yeah, he's gonna own the hell out of me, man. So if you guys want to see me get owned on live, I was like, make sure you pop on a great show. Yeah, ooh, man, he's gonna cook me. I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to get cooked. I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to get cooked.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to get cooked. All right, guys, we appreciate it. Jordan, you have a fantastic time in Mobile. Get to scouting, my boy. Again.